Hi, everyone, and welcome back to AIADA's AutoTalk. I'm your host, Rachel Soleimani. Anyone who is registered for today's program will be receiving a copy by early next week. And if you have any questions, be sure to enter them into the lower right-hand side of your interface under the Q&A bar. Joining us today, we have Eric Milch, co-founder and VP of Search, and Olivia Stapleton, Marketing and Sales Enablement from DealerTeamwork. I've had the pleasure of meeting both of them in person, and let me tell you, they know marketing, and they are the people you want leading your marketing efforts. Just all around great people. But anyway, Eric and Olivia, I'll let you take the floor.
Thank you, Rachel. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And of course, thank you to everyone at AIADA for all of your support of DealerTeamwork. We appreciate that. So we built the session today. We wanted it to be highly practical and immediately useful. We hope that you'll leave today with a bunch of proven steps that you'll be able to use right away to be able to match shoppers to the actual research and decisions that they're making today. And with the ultimate goal of obviously to be able to convert those behaviors into just real measurable revenue. Our focus is real simple. It's clarity, not theory.
Yes, and for those that are listening, feel free to add your questions into the chat as we go through the content. We will be touching back on them towards the end. Post-webinar, you'll be receiving 3 useful resources that we've created. One is our No Surprises Buyer Journey Explainer, a total search plan for your 90-day approach, and an LSEO optimization checklist that you can just integrate directly into your workflow.
So real simple. Here's how today will flow for everyone. We're going to talk a lot about what's changed for shoppers and what hasn't for everybody at the dealership. Really, all positions. I would recommend really grasp these concepts and these ideas that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about how AI-driven search shifts have happened and where the discovery is happening and how success needs to be measured. As Olivia said, we've got the total search playbook with some examples and your 90-day rollout plan.
Yes. So we also designed sessions today for the leaders who kind of want to grow without waste. So we're talking to you, dealer principals, GMs, GSMs, and marketing teams. And our goal is very simple. We want to help you just match that modern shopping behavior. And like Eric said, kind of navigate that new AI-driven search shift while staying centered on those revenue-generating conversions. So, Eric, if you want to go to the next slide, we can kick some things off with some fun pictures of the reality behind Gen Z here. And just to preface, I am Gen Z, so I can say this with full authority. We are very hyper efficient with filtering. And to put that into perspective, studies show when it comes to the attention span, the goldfish clocks in at about 9 seconds. And the kicker here is that Gen Z, we're at 8, which means that your next $30,000 buyer has less focus than the fish that your kid won at the county fair. And I know that may sound like a silly analogy, but that really does put things into perspective, right? Because our short attention span, it's not a flaw. It's a filter, like I mentioned. In those 8 seconds, your shoppers are sizing you up. They're asking, is this real? Is this clear? Can I trust it? And while all of that's happening, we've already scrolled more than 300 feet. Think about that. That's a monument's worth of content in a day, and that's the scale of distraction that you're competing with nowadays. So just to reiterate and make it very clear, your competition now is not just the dealer down the block. It's every swipe, every scroll, every ad that's in the palm of your customer's hand. And that really brings us to that empowered shoppers, because this behavior is exactly what has changed how they buy.
Great stuff, Liv. Thanks. Shoppers obviously are more informed. Everyone's aware they're faster moving. Of course, everybody is mobile dominant more than ever. And everybody's looking for that digital clarity, some type of transparency, and definitely they're looking for that fast user experience and that user interface. Those are all table stakes. So buyers are they're moving forward when they're online to be able to remove the friction when needed. They're looking for their answers to be their questions to be answered in seconds. They don't need to hunt for it. They don't want to hunt for it. And of course, as we know, everybody, but more importantly, younger shoppers, they live on short form video. We're going to talk about that quite a bit today. And that's where their confidence in decisions needs to increase, when the answers are instant, visual, and credible. Everybody's pretty familiar with this, I'm sure, but just as a quick recap, the younger buyers, as I said, they're living on mobile. Olivia, why don't you share a little bit about what your experience are, in this environment as well?
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, Eric, what still wins in store has not changed for us, even in our generation. And honestly, this is where the dealers really continue to shine. And it comes down to that digital clarity, the transparency, a fast user experience, because those are no longer nice to haves. Those are the new baseline, not just for Gen Z, but for every generation who's adopting the same behavior as us. You see it right there, 60% of searches start on mobile. We're mobile dominant. That's everyone as a whole, all buyers. 75% are influenced by video. I can tell you confidently, I like to go to TikTok. We call it TikTok University in my generation. If I need an answer to a question about a car, about shoes, about anything, I go directly to TikTok. And from there, I watch the videos because those real, authentic, and genuine content pieces really make a difference for me. And then right there, 60%, they go and visit a dealer after watching a video. So yeah, when you see the videos, when you see something that matches online and then experience that in store, that's when the friction is removed. That's when your questions get answered. And that's when we end up going and moving forward in the buying process and visiting your dealership.
And one of the things that I noticed too, Olivia, is the fact that as somebody goes through this process, this linear process from left to right, the 88% number really stands out, because about 25% of these searches are people who are looking at brands and comparing prices as well, even comparing ratings and reviews. So that 88% is being powered by some type of AI powered type of response as well.
Yeah, 100%. And to Eric, to back that up, since we all are digital natives nowadays, I mean, we were trained by the brands that we use every single day, right? Amazon, it taught us speed, Apple taught us ease. And I mean, TikTok, like I just mentioned, that taught us the pace of attention. So when I land on your dealership's website, I'm subconsciously expecting it to feel like the brands that I already trust. And so, therefore, at the bottom there, you see the scroll, skim, save. Think about it: quick, efficient, and credible. And the dealership that can answer my top questions in the 30 seconds or less, that's the one I'm going to go visit, right? And so, I want you guys to drop it in the chat. Which step of your digital process creates the most friction today? Could be your VDP, trade in, or finance. Just pick one. And the reason that we're asking about your process here is because the minute shoppers do hit friction, and I'm talking anything confusing, slow, unclear, they're not just going to power through it. They bounce, but they don't give up. They just search smarter. And so they may start with a simple Google query, right? And then rephrase it, then add details, and eventually drop a whole paragraph into ChatGPT or AI. And so what we're doing, we're training ourselves to get better answers faster. And those searches are getting more specific and more direct and more demanding. So now, Eric, let's talk a little bit about how those platforms are responding to these demands.
Yeah, as the users are getting more familiar and they're assimilating with the technology, you can see, as you said, that progression from the left to right. Again, people still, on average, when they go to Google, search with 3 terms. Then it's expanding in AI mode, where they're starting to get a little bit more expressive. And then look at that jump in ChatGPT and the true AI searches. People are getting really, really descriptive. And we'll share some more nice real world examples of this as we continue. But the bottom line is, as you said, people are learning really how to just search better. And they're being more specific and they're being more descriptive.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, Eric, I mean, AI overviews, they're not replacing the click, they're simply creating new routes for consumers to get to their answers. So if your content is answering their question clearly and the relevance is aligning with that search intent, Google's going to reward you twice: once for the AI summary and again in the traditional search results. So it's really more opportunity, not less.
Great point, Olivia. So hopefully everybody is a little bit familiar with our background. My partner and I, Sean Stapleton, we both were former dealers. And we talk about this quite a bit. what if we had the opportunity to do it again? What would we do different? And one of the ideas that we came up with was this no surprises purchase map. So if I was a dealer today, I would have a real simple walkthrough educational type of resource for every customer that came through, especially my younger customers who are looking to make their first purchase, or a relatively newer buyer, especially someone that's new to the store. And I would want to offer up this transparency so that they understand what is happening with the process. How does it work? Olivia, how does this relate to your process personally?
Well, yeah, I can't stress it enough that you really need to align with the trust signals, the clarity, and absolutely no surprises. And when I bought my last truck, I actually started with a different dealership, and I got a no charge rental. The keys were in my hand. Literally, all I had to do the next day was show up and sign. And I loved this car. It checked every box I was looking for. I was basically pre-sold. But, I went to the dealership the next day to return that rental, and I was ready to buy, but sat down there at the desk and the numbers changed, the fees appeared. And so, I was sitting there and I'm wondering, what else are they not telling me? And that feeling alone was enough for me to leave that dealership. And so the same day I returned that rental from that first dealership and I drove to another. And it was a night and day experience. The next dealer laid everything out clearly. He checked every box. He did not hide a thing. And that's why he got the sale. So I think the big picture here is if the first store had given me a simple, transparent checklist like the one you're seeing, they would have kept me and I would have walked out that day with a car from their lot.
Nice. So when everybody on the call gets this presentation, you can grab the file from the link that we've included on the button in the presentation and personalize it for your own dealership. Add what you'd like, per your brand. But this is a great opportunity to show your trust signals to your customers.
Yeah. This graphic right here. Speaking of that trust, let's talk about what happens when it breaks. Because for my generation, for younger buyers, and I'm talking all buyers actually, one wrong move nowadays is all it takes for them to leave. And right here on the slide, this pretty much is what Gen Z does when something does feel misleading. And I didn't practice my umpire voice, Eric. Maybe you could do it better than I could, but mislead us once and you're out.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and branching off of that too, I again can't stress it enough. Just align with those trust signals, the clarity, no surprises. Um, and Eric, you actually have a really funny analogy here about the unboxing as well.
Yeah, I know your generation loves to watch the unboxing videos for any product. So I look at it like this: dealers just need to equate the VDP and any other priority page as literally being the unboxing video for your own dealership. Just change the way you view it. And if you haven't taken a look at any unboxing videos, as crazy as they are, they're captivating.
They are.
And that's the way that the website needs to behave as well.
They are.
So talking about what shoppers are actually doing online and this change that we keep referring to, Olivia, walk us through a little bit about some of these real life activities and how this applies, especially to your generation.
Yeah, I turn to AI for everything. And the prompts you're seeing on the screen right here, these are real customer prompts that we've used for dealerships. And this is exactly how we are searching now. We're not starting with generic terms, but we are starting with real questions. And we want the specifics, we want the local information, and we want honest comparisons and those trust cues. So this goes way beyond just Chevy Silverado for sale. The prompts on the screen are where the real buyer intent lies, and this is what you should be using.
Yeah, and a key takeaway here, again, just to repeat for everybody, I can't stress it enough. These three categories between it's different intent categories like research, localization, and even the trust signals. That's what your customers want. That's what they need. And again, if you lack these, you lack the opportunity for visibility within just general organic results, but especially within these deeper, richer, more relevant AI overviews. So again, another key takeaway too, ask your current provider, how do you track my AI visibility? It's not about ranking in the AI results. It's about being visible for different topics and prompts, and even the competitive visibility. It can be measured.
Yeah, and speaking with measuring stuff, just going back to the search basics. I'm talking the fundamentals. Start with your GBP. Get the real photos, the right categories, full service menus, UTM tags everywhere they belong. And then from there, consistent responses, automated updates, so nothing's going to fall through the cracks.
And I've said this for years. It's been, literally probably 10, 15 years. You got to ask for those reviews. But even more so, did you know that you can actually have a customer add a video to their customer reviews? And it's a little known secret, but everybody can do it. And there's a way that the customers can add this through Google Maps. So just a little bit of education to the customer, and honestly, just asking for it. Because again, 75% of these customers, they're using these videos to compare the brand experience. So give them that, especially through the powerful medium of video.
Yeah, and I challenge all of you on this call and beyond, shop your own website like a real customer. And I would challenge you to do this because, we're dealers, we work in the industry. We don't necessarily buy cars the way that your customers are buying cars. And so if you really want the most honest, unbiased feedback, ask a friend, ask your partner, ask your kids. Your kids won't sugarcoat it. They'll give you real feedback on where the friction lies, how their journey goes, and from there you can close the gaps.
Such a great recommendation, Liv. So let's talk a little bit more about the rebirth of the basics as well. So you have to be tracking your map tracker visibility. You need to own your backyard. And there are tools out there that give you this clear, simple visualization to be able to track your average ranking. Things like your share of voice. Just where do you stand against your competition in those top three spots for your visibility? And
Yeah.
as the consistency, as you said, as you add that consistency and that improves it, your calls and appointment intent, they're going to increase because of that visibility.
I love this slide. I love Map Tracker. You see the gaps and you're able to seize the growth there. And if you look on the right side of the screen there, this puts into perspective how much optimization truly matters. Look at those results. And baseline measurement is so important because after optimizing, their average rank went to number 1. Their share of voice nearly doubled, and they earned 100% visibility in the top 3 rankings. That's night and day.
Yeah, and one additional item too, I always make sure that the dealers understand this is not an overnight success thing. This takes time, it takes effort, and it takes consistency. So you put the right work in consistently over time, you're going to see these types of results. But this is an absolute necessity for your brand, again, to be able to make this type of improvement. This was from July to November for a Honda dealer. For a pretty important topic, just simply Honda EV.
Wow. Yeah, okay. So now moving into kind of how we engage. We just heard about Map Tracker. We went through the basics. Let me tell you, younger buyers, not just younger buyers, all buyers, no one wants a 5-minute commercial, right? We want something that feels like it belongs on TikTok. I'm talking when you're shooting videos, keep it vertical, keep it real, 60 seconds or less, do some walkarounds, maybe build some explanation videos. You could even put finance mythbusters, service or trade-in expectations. And yes, you could even do customer reviews in video form. And if you can see that little screen grab right there, if you need inspiration, Forest Auto Reviews. I cannot stress that enough. It's a perfect example. This guy gets nearly 2 million views on a walk around. It's not fancy lighting. It's not scripted. It's useful and it's simple and it's just human content. And I can tell you that human, genuine content beats a polished dealership ad every single time.
I love Forrest's reviews, honestly, Olivia. They're some of the best videos on YouTube. And when I go to YouTube now, personally, I don't even watch a regular video. I watch the reels, I watch the shorts on Instagram, and I'm looking for these, especially for Forest, because it's so impactful. And like you said, it's just a minute long, maybe at tops.
Yeah, and I mean, Eric, we have an 8 second attention span, and I can tell you, he sucks me in every time. It's just real, and that's what makes me love it. But so now we're going to move into your 90-day plan. And so if that's how younger buyers want to engage, the next step here is making sure that your entire search presence supports it, right? So we're going to walk you through kind of what to do in those first 90 days to make this real. And we've got some really nice, relevant, and actionable items for you to take away and start today. And I want you to think about days 1 through 14. Now, these are your setup days, and this is where we create that clarity across all departments. And the goal here is if a shopper asks it, you answer it. If they're searching for it, you show up for it.
That's a great first step. And again, you can mix and and make this personalized to your own brand. But again, being able to take some type of consistent effort like this is all you need to do to get started. So in the next stage, in that acceleration stage, days 15 to 45, just again, back to basics on the blocking and tackling. These are the things that make a difference in terms of visibility, your tracking, your engagement, and being able to push that shopper further down the buying journey. And again, make it a little bit less friction. And again, the last stage of that, your scale and measure between 46 and 90, these are like going to the gym. This is where the definition shows up. Start tracking and monitoring and comparing against that baseline as well.
I love that. And I also love this because this is something fun. We are going to bust some myths here. You know that old you can't do SEO and PPC together myth? That right there is dealership folklore because that myth is only alive because so many providers don't offer paid search or they don't see the daily coordination. And I can tell you that when your data and your offers and your team are all aligned, it's pretty much like one pit crew and it's not two drivers fighting over the same wheel. It just makes it flow seamlessly.
Now, I've been around the block a few years. Now I've seen this happen where you get two separate vendors that are running SEO and paid search. And I can guarantee you they're not talking to each other. If they're under one roof and they have a process in place and they've got the right people and the right communication, that's how you prevent strategy drift. And that way you make sure that the data is being shared. You got true strategy sessions and meetings and collaboration, and just basically being able to do it the right way. But don't fall into this myth that one vendor can't do both of these.
Well, we just threw a lot at you guys, and so feel free to drop your questions in the chat. And honestly, start with the bottlenecks that you'd like to fix today, not just someday down the road. We're here to help you. And yeah, Eric, do you have anything
Thanks
else?
again for joining us. We truly appreciate everybody's time that you take to listen to us and support the AIADA and obviously everything that we're sharing today. But if you have questions, even please reach directly. You can reach out directly to me. Email is real simple, eric@dealerteamwork.com. Happy to help. And Rachel, any questions?
Yes, actually, we had a couple come in.
Nice.
The first one is, what's a good app to use to edit my videos?
Oh, I got this one. Honestly, I have probably the top 3 platforms that I personally would recommend that are just the most user-friendly. Number 1 is CapCut. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with CapCut here, but if not, this is such a good tool for just TikTok native editing. This would be my number 1 choice. It's free, it's easy, it's made by TikTok. And so everything that's in the platform is structured with the transitions, captions, templates that you need to make your content just look amazing. I would also iMovie. It's always a no-brainer. It's very easy for beginners. You can add music, quick trims, simple edits. And it is typically on our phones already if you have an Apple. So it's either on your phone or your Mac. Descript, that's another one if you're unfamiliar. It's structured with AI, and so you're really able to move around any sentences or paragraphs or just remove any word gaps that you want. It also does captioning as well. But just to wrap it up, I would say that CapCut alone can basically handle 80% of the short form content that dealers should be making now. That would be my
Great
recommendation.
recommendations.
So the next one is it possible to track rankings in AI overviews?
Oh, that's such a good question, Rachel. The simple answer to that is no. It's not like tracking organic keyword rankings. The difference here, this is all about visibility, because there are no rankings within those AI overviews or in the AI mode or any type of AI type of search browser. It's just a mention. So instead of a ranking, think mention. Those are pretty much equal in terms of the loose definition. So it's all just about being able to track and measure your overall visibility from the AI overviews. That's a simple takeaway from that.
And we have time for one more question. How do you test your SEO results?
How do we test them?
Yes, that was the question that was sent in.
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's a couple different factors to that I would say real quickly, and I'll answer it as simple as possible. We want to test those results based on your site health to begin with, and I would strongly recommend your search provider doing some type of technical SEO. We like to say if the site isn't healthy, Google can't find it. And if Google can't find it, they certainly can't show it to car shoppers in and around your market. That's one way we test it. Another way we test it is just making sure that you have proper landing pages. Do you have landing pages specific to each department that are optimized from head to toe? Have dynamic content? Do you have your offers? Do you have things like FAQs? A lot of the stuff that we talked about today. That's another way in terms of just content structure and relevance and health of the pages themselves. And then lastly, keep it short. I would say you need to be able to pass some type of test in terms of just that visibility against your market, whether it's a map tracker or map rank tracker, or even just the general organic results from actual position tracking. And then the last one would be some type of AI visibility scoring to make sure that you at least show up when those long tail, really, really deep, rich type of searches are being done. Again, to be able to understand what are the topics that people are looking for and what are the prompts that are firing those responses in the AI results. So there's three great ways to be able to score that out.
Well, Eric and Olivia, thanks so much for joining us today. This was some great content and it resonated with me. I am not Gen Z, I'm a millennial, but I did also buy my last car through Facebook Marketplace. The dealer actually did the entire transaction through Facebook Messenger, and I just showed up to the dealership and I was in and out within 15 minutes.
That's
So
awesome.
that's where we are. That's where we're trending. I am millennial because I still use Facebook, I guess. But everything you shared was just so relevant and helpful. So thank you.
Well, great. We appreciate your support. We love you guys over at AIADA. Anything we can do for you, let us know. But thank you again, everybody, for attending.
Thank you,
Right
guys.
back at you guys. Again, you'll all be receiving a copy of this webinar by early next week. Join us back here for our next webinar, Tuesday, December 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern, as Strategic Source talks tips to grow and scale your dealership group. For more information about AIADA, visit aiada.org. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day, everyone.